Hello, I'm Kawalmeet from Section E. The topic I'm going to talk about is quite intriguing, but before I dive deep into it, let me give you a brief picture about it. Imagine this: you wake up and you use your iPhone that you bought on credit. You go to a college on your bike that you got on EMI. You are hungry and you decide to order on Swiggy, but you decide to pay by credit card because you want to pay later. You book a vacation you haven't saved for yet. Does that sound familiar? Because that's exactly the issue that we're going to talk about. India has become one of the fastest growing credit markets in the world. But here's a question at the heart of it which no one is willing to accept. What happens when an entire nation starts living beyond its means, one EMI at a time? Let's look at the scale of the problem because the numbers tell us a sobering story. The retail credit has grown from 12.1% of the GDP in 2017 to 19.4 by 2023. Today, 70% of iPhones and 80% of cars in India are bought on loan. The credit card debt of India has been surging at 21.3 annually between 2021 and 2024. And let's talk about savings now. The Indian household net financial savings have collapsed completely from a solid 7 to 8% of GDP in the late 2010s to just 5% in 2022 and 2023. That's a starking drop. We are borrowing more and more and saving less and less than what we did in nearly 5 decades. But how did we get here? There are three major forces behind it. One is fintech. Fintech has made credit invisible. With just few taps, just a ID and a bank account, you can borrow with minimal efforts. Buy now, pay later, BNPL, has embedded itself literally everywhere. Millennials and Gen Zs make up to 60 to 75% of BNPL customers in India. And the third is the cultural shift. Majorly Gen Zs these days are borrowing out personal loans to be able to fund their travels and their concert tickets. Now that's something that really is concerning. But when we look at all this debt, the question arises, who bears the burden? Because not all debt looks equal. For some families, the debt amount goes to 33% of their monthly incomes, whereas for higher income urban homes, it is nearly 45%. This sharpens inequality. Affluent households compound wealth through assets, whereas middle income households compound liabilities through EMI. There are two types of Indians, one investing and one servicing debt. So the question is, how do we gap this inequality? But when we look at the broader picture, we think, but if someone is borrowing, it's their issue, right? How does it affect the economy? But no, that's wrong. When millions of households are over leveraged, it becomes everyone's problem. Households borrowings have risen 77 trillion in 2021 to 120 trillion by March 2024. Much of this is unsecured, no collateral, no safety net. So what happens when someone defaults? Or let's say, what happens when suddenly 20% of the people default? The market or the economy collapses in its own. So the question that genuinely arises is, what needs to be done? There are three major things that needs to be done. Regulate fintech properly, so that the hidden fees and predatory recovery methods should come to an end. The second one is financial literacy at scale. We need to teach people to drive before they get behind the wheels, right? We need to teach people how to finance, what they are investing it, how they are spending the money. It needs to happen at a larger scale. 3, wages must keep up with the cost, because ultimately people will borrow when they cannot afford things outright. So India really wants to become Viksit Bharat by 2047. Consumption is a legitimate growth driver. EMIs have genuinely helped millions of people access products and build credit histories that they would have otherwise never done. But there's a difference between credit that builds a future and credit that sabotages the entire economy. So the question that lies at the end is not whether EMI is a problem or not, but the question that really we should be asking is, who is the EMI really serving and what is the purpose behind it?